Brenen, I know it's been long spring, long camp. You finally get to go play a real football game. How confident are you right now in yourself, your role, and your team?
I think I'm super confident. I think the whole team is pretty confident. Just being that we've been game planning for almost 2 weeks now. It's going on second week, and so I know the whole team's just excited to go play, and everyone's playing at a confident level right now.
Brenen, obviously, even being a new guy here, you've quickly been given a leadership role here. You went to SEC Media Days. You spoke with us a couple of times. Is that something you anticipated when you signed with Mississippi State and transferred here? Did you expect that leadership role to happen so quickly?
I wouldn't say so quickly. I knew it would come with work and dedication, showing up every single day. But I definitely expect to be a leader on this team. I think that's why Levy brought me here. Got me with the guys that I did get with when I got here. And then just getting with Blake and those guys that do have a leadership role already established on this team. And like, look, what do I need to do to earn y'all's trust? So I think it started there, and then just went from there to working every single day to build that role as fast as I could.
Carla? Brenen, people have talked about the whole offseason how the receiver room is drastically changed. Just how excited are you to be a part of that room and show everyone kind of what you guys have been working on the last few months?
I mean, I couldn't be more excited. I think our room is one of the deepest in college football. I guess some could argue that, but I truly feel that way. We have guys that can go play, no matter if it's 1-2s or 3s. We all can play. I think I'm just excited to be a part of that room. Blessed to be a part of that room.
Go to Sam and pass it down to Steve.
Not sure how much you've gotten to look into Southern Miss yet, but I just wonder are you guys watching more Marshall film than Southern Miss film just because of how much turnover that team has had, or what's kind of the outlook there?
I would say half and half about. Yeah, we definitely watched some Marshall film, being that most of those guys did come from Marshall. We're all transferred to Southern Miss this year, so I'd say, yeah, there's definitely that component of it as well.
Steve?
What do you like about Blake Shapen as your quarterback? Kind of take us through your personal scouting report.
I think he's an amazing human, and I think it starts there. I think he's a great leader, great role model. And he just takes his team and holds it up to whatever it needs to be held up to. I think he does a great job of coming to work every single day, setting the standard every single day, and then he's just a down-to-earth guy. He's this quarterback on the field, leading everybody, and he's the same off the field. He's still that quarterback, still looks out for everybody on and off the field, and I couldn't be more blessed to be able to call him my teammate.
Colin?
As somebody who's been through this process several times already, what is week one like transitioning from fall camp into game planning? Are you still focusing on yourselves more, trying to learn more about the opponent, however way you can?
Yeah, I think it starts with week one, obviously, but this goes back all the way to January. Working on yourself, but then at the end of the day, each week there's going to be an opponent, but each week we got to get better. And so this week for me specifically is just getting better. I think as a whole unit, we just got to get better this week. How can we get better in the next 3 days before we go play the game? And then, when we do go play the game, like we got to learn from that, and then we got to get better for next week, win or loss. And so, there's that role of it. We got to get better each week. And then there's also that role of, you have to study, your opponent. You have to respect your opponent and study them, and find their tendencies and see what they're about. And so, there's a little bit of both sides to that.
Anything else for Brenen?
Hi, Brenen. How would you say the wide receiver unit has grown from start to all the way here in the start of the season?
Yeah, I think just efficiency. I think, just playing faster and faster each day as we get comfortable with the playbook. I think all those guys have done an amazing job of pushing each other, and we're all learning from one another. I'm really excited for that unit. It's going to be fun to watch.
Marcus?
What are you looking forward to the most for this opening game?
I think the energy within the building, within the team. Obviously didn't have the season we wanted to last year, and so just being able to go, redeem ourselves. I think for week one, it's all about how can we turn heads as fast as we can, and so we're looking to go hang as many points as we can, keep them to 0 points on their scoreboard, and just go dominate. That's what we're looking forward to doing.
All right.
Appreciate y'all.